Well, turning elsewhere now, with well over 100 people confirmed dead, Brazil is still reeling from what's increasingly being described as its deadliest ever operation against drug gangs. The raids, which were carried out in a neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro, were planned for more than 2 months and aimed specifically at driving suspects into a nearby hillside where a special operations unit was indeed waiting in ambush. While the head of security for Rio State actually acknowledged that the high death toll was, I quote, expected but not desired. He also vowed an investigation into any possible police misconduct. Here's a reaction from the United Nations.
Brazil must break the cycle of extreme brutality and ensure that law enforcement operations comply with international standards regarding the use of force. We call for prompt, independent, and effective investigations into Tuesday's events and for a full-fledged policing reform.
For the latest, then, we're going to cross to our correspondent, Tim Vickery, standing by in Rio. Hi there, Tim. So, is it surprising that such a heavy-handed operation took place under left-wing President Lula? Given what one has come to expect of differences between the right and the left as far as law enforcement goes, I think a lot of people were indeed surprised to see something like this happen, of this caliber, happen under Lula.
Yeah, neither Lula nor anyone in his national government knew that this operation was going to take place. Brazil is a federal country. This operation was carried out by the governor of Rio State, Claudio Castro, a right-wing figure who is a political opponent of Lula. Now, there is a strong political component to everything that has gone on in the run-up to next year's election year. Opponents, critics of this police operation on Tuesday, would argue that this operation is more spectacle than substance, that it doesn't alter the structure of organised crime, and organised crime can swiftly replenish its losses in personnel and resources. But it attacks Lula and his Workers' Party where they're seen as weak on crime and organised crime. And it plays into a view very common in a society traumatized by the reality of urban violence, that the only good bandit is a dead bandit. Now, there are clearly divisions in Brazil's state about the operation. The Supreme Court will want to know whether the objective of this operation was really to kill rather than to arrest. The local security secretary rather chillingly referred to the dead as neutralized. But Lula himself, so often a builder of consensus, he sent his justice minister, Minister Lewandowski, to Rio yesterday, held a joint press conference with Claudio Castro, the state governor. Although he's a political opponent, what they're trying to do, despite the divisions in the Brazilian state, is pass a message that the state is united in its combat of organised crime, and a joint office is being set up to that purpose.
So, Tim, given such a spectacular operation, the high death toll, the pictures that we see there of mourning families, where does this leave things? What happens now?
Well, Lula has already sanctioned a new law tightening penalties for people involved with organised crime, especially of obstruction with justice. And organised crime, it's so big and so sophisticated with tentacles all over Brazilian society that it could well be that attacking the finances is more effective than killing the foot soldiers. But this really, now it goes beyond an issue of security. It becomes an issue of sovereignty. The drug gang in question, the Comando Vermelho, the Red Command, they control a lot of territory, especially in the favelas in Rio, but they are a national organization and they are a growing organization, almost an alternative state in a number of parts, especially of Rio. And the show of strength that they gave in reprisal to Tuesday's events was imposing. They managed to shut down a lot of Rio, blocking a number of key roads and sowing a climate of confusion and fear. And also, they managed to attack the security forces from the air with drones. Now, this shows that for the first time, the state no longer has a monopoly on control of the air. And that's a sobering thought for the authorities.